I've got a question for, well, I've got several questions for Quentin, really. One thing Quentin says is something like this, that no religious statement, no proposition about God could be empirically verified. That seems to me to be whoppingly false. Here's a counterexample. God has not created 700-pound rabbits in Cleveland. One can certainly verify that. You go to Cleveland, and if you don't find any 700-pound rabbits, you know God hasn't created any 700-pound rabbits in Cleveland. I've got another question for Quentin, too. I've got another question for Quentin. Quentin says that according to science, according to the general theory of relativity, each state of the universe is explained completely by the preceding state of the universe. But Quentin knows perfectly well that according to the ordinary classical orthodox interpretation of quantum mechanics, when there is a collapse of the wave function, when there's a measurement, let's say, well, then there is the wave function collapses in a certain way, and there isn't any physical explanation of its collapsing in that way. So I don't see how you can say that, Quentin.
Oh, because the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics doesn't apply to the universe as a whole.
Doesn't what?
It doesn't apply to the universe as a whole, but only to a localized subsystem within the universe, and therefore it can't apply to states of the universe as a whole.
Well, I mean, so you've got as part of the whole state of the universe this collapse. That particular part is not explained, so the whole thing isn't explained. There's a part of it that's not explained. You were saying that to explain all the parts is to explain the whole, and to explain the whole is to explain all the parts. Here you've got a part that's not explained. Okay,
well, I think I would respond to that by saying that most physicists who are on the cutting edge of developing quantum mechanics, they all reject the Copenhagen interpretation. And the two predominant interpretations they accept, the consistent histories interpretation and the Bohmian interpretation, they all are deterministic theories.
Yeah, but I don't agree with you that most physicists reject, you say on the cutting edge. So
on the cutting edge.
Maybe you're defining cutting edge as ones that reject the Copenhagen theory.
No, by cutting edge, I mean ones who publish articles in Physical Review D about how to help advance the interpretation of quantum mechanics.
Well,
and I say the ones who aren't on the cutting edge merely teach quantum mechanics, but don't write anything about it.
At this point, I exercise my prerogative